Pontiac, Pontiac. All things Pontiac. Welcome. Episode 3. Candidate for Mayor Gil Garrett here. And I am excited about. I'm excited about the fact that I just get to be here. I'm grateful that I get to be here. And episode 3 is going to be a little different. We've had the first 2 episodes were, very informational. I want to thank Lionel May, over on the east side for coming on. I want to also thank Sergeant Keisha Bethia from Plainsville, New Jersey, and please pray for them as they've kind of been hit hard by some storms and had some power outages and had to really navigate in that emergency space. It's so important. Today, I am grateful and I'm very humbled to be in this space and in this moment with you. Our community in the last few weeks have been hit. I know we use this word or we use this phrase, senseless violence. Senseless violence. And today, it just led me on my heart to just come as natural and raw as possible. And and I don't have a script. I'm not going to keep you long. What I do have is some information, and I'm going to try to answer a few questions that I couldn't answer on Facebook, right? I could not answer on Facebook. I mean, it's, spending time today going through investigations on the recent death of one of our students at Pontiac High who his life was taken. And another one was injured. And these are young men. We've had 3 young men who were in another city and broke in a garage. And one of those young men lost their life. 3 weeks prior, we had a young man lose his life. His life was taken from him on activities that I'm going to describe and be very, very vulnerable at this space. Because I'm the only candidate that has to deal with and have dealt with these senseless murders and can see where decisions have not been made because of ego and setting themselves up for the next position. It's an election season, and I started this platform because, or at least started this particular podcast because I wanted individuals to be able to come on and ask me questions, and if I can, not hide behind keyboards and those things. It just burns me to my core that we think hiding behind a keyboard is an answer. As a mayor, I want you to know me or get to know me as others have over the last 30 years. I've been consistent in this space, but not because I was looking for a job. I have a job, or I'm looking for a career. Have a career. I'm not a career politician. I'm not as polished as some others you will find to be running in this particular campaign. When I mean I mean script, and I'm not going to tell lies or play with your emotions or get you to tell you what you want to hear. I sought after elected positions because there were things that we needed to move forward and things that we needed to correct. I started on the education side because without quality education, without being able to financially provide to a system that educate our children, then I found it's devastating to know that people take these positions as stepping stones because they want to go to other places. And it's facts. This is facts. They do not complete their term, and then a city council seat goes up, and they apply for city council or state rep or a county commit. Like they have multiple elections under their belt when the job that they asked for, they didn't complete. Facts. And if you go in my memories in Facebook, everything that I'm telling you, I've been saying these type of things and doing and moving in this space for over 2 decades. It's a different kind of, you have a different type of attachment to this city when you have to deliver the fact that a child is not coming home. If you ain't never had to tell a parent that their little boy or their little girl has been murdered, we're not the same. And we talk about accountability until we have to be accountable for ourselves and to ourselves. Like what is going to bother me tonight is the fact that you're going to get people and see elected officials getting on here and talking about these lives as if they knew them, and talking about how important safety is in their platform, but yet have never had a conversation with those of us who work this job day in and day out. Never asked our professional opinion on if a certain, would you think this program will work good here because you deal with this on a regular basis? We call you. We tell you where the drug houses is, and we call you and let you handle the nuisance complaints. And we're always set on the shelf until something like this happens. See, for me, this is a little bit beyond police work. This assignment, because that's exactly what it is a space that I desire nothing but freedom for the people that I serve. I wish I could have a forum where we talk about the real issues, where we talk about, even before I became wanting to run for mayor, I went to the sitting council president. I applied for District 2 and was turned down and never told why. when another candidate was the president of the council, I went to them and said, let me be on the team. Let me help you in District 2. And was turned down, given no explanation why. It's not that I didn't try to join these individuals and bring my expertise that would help the whole city. But there's an ego problem. There's a problem when people feel like, hey, he could be better or she could be better. And I can't have that because I want to run for this and that. And if that they make me look bad, it's a possible chance more people may like them than they do me. I've been dealing with that type of mentality in this city for over 25 years. And why do you stay, Gil? Because our babies end up dead. And I've seen money being spent for adults, and then we argue for months about even having a thought of what we can do for the youth until something like this happens. There was a conversation about that was trending on Facebook about a youth center. And let me put that up. And it was a good question. I mean, it was a good question that was asked. Trying to find it. There it is. Okay. And the question was, pardon me. And I was under Dak Davis' post, serious question. Will bringing a youth center give the youth something to do or provide a place to meet up and be violent? And I wanted to respond. Like, these are the posts that I'm talking to you about now is, these are posts that I really want to, I be really wanting to comment on. But because of just the length of time that it would take to post, I just don't have that kind of time. So this is the platform that I choose to, what would I do? What would I say? And in that moment, I thought about the fact that they said it takes about $41 million to build this rec center. At least that was the last number that was given, that it was like $41 million to build this rec center. And I'm like, $41 million to build a rec center, but yet you have not talked about how you would, what programming you would have on there. And I remember going under the post, and I remember going under the post and listening to or looking at the comments, right? Like, and one of the comments stated, "It's not youth centers," and it was another leader in our respected leader in our community who has a nonprofit, and she stated, "Look, the building is not going to stop the violence; it's programming." And so I get to this point. I bring this up because what I wanted to type was, I absolutely agree. And here's the history about the rec center program. We had individuals who took the time in these programs, and it was even though they were in the building, they had we had individuals who cared about the students that was coming and knew them. So under my administration, since we're here and we're having a conversation, the plan that I would like before we decide to say 41 million, can we find the Bobby Kaisers, the Dave Chisholms, the Leonard Haynes, the Deborah Sheltons, the Tony Howards? Can we find the Portia Andersons? If I can get 10 of people who are there because they don't want to extra, like they really there because they want to coach. They really there because they want to teach. They want to be mentors. They want to pour into the kids. If we could develop the programming, because it really starts with the people. Now, I don't want to argue. I don't want to have well, I'm not going to say that. You could debate it all day long about should you build it first and then have the program, but it's about the programming. And let's talk about that for a second. When I sat as the school board president and I was sitting as the council, I was sitting in the municipality at the same time. There was a conversation of how we would partner with the city. So these are facts. I was able to get the Board of Education and the council at the time to sign off on an MOU between the PAL program, the municipality, and the school district. And all while that was going on, administration was trying to go behind the school district's backs. The respect factor. It wasn't that we didn't want to partner with them. It was how often the school district is treated by the municipality as if we are secondhand. But when I was able to work over in the municipality, it changed that, helped it mold and change that relationship. But there were individuals who still had that mentality, who was in leadership, that said we could take what we want from the district. While I'm working there, in my elected official capacity, egos, wanting to be the people to say that what they did and didn't do. And if we would have just humbled ourselves, if we would have stayed in our own lanes, I believe we would have had a stronger program. Now we have they've put in place where the kids can use the playground. $147 million people paid to use those buildings, new builds, new gyms, and they only get to use the playground. That was the only discussion. But it's people who need to have those discussions. And you can't blame it on council. And then to a certain degree, you can't say it's the executive side because they hired directors. It's the people who are at these decision-making tables because they do these great news releases and look, they get to use the playground. One would say something is better than nothing, but when you know that there are decisions that's being made that could be a lot stronger, that could work. I went over had another discussion as the school board president with the administration and board leadership, council leadership. I said, hey, you have PEG funds. We have studio space. Let's create a studio where we can have producers come in of musics who were here, lived here, produced music in the industry. This is a very art, I will just say, for lack of better words right now, artsy, arts, music driven town. to teach our kids how to be producers. And then we're going to put coding in there for those kids who are into coding, because we have one of the top robotics teams in the country. In the country. Yeah. Introducing them to STEM. It's the building that we have, well, we used to have the movie studio. Well, we had the over at WHRC. It's empty. They use it to store instruments for the band. But it's a whole studio there. But because it was not an idea that they came up with, and it wasn't politically aligned with what they really had in mind, we didn't do it. But I stayed. And so every time a kid makes a mistake that cost them their life, I go back and I think about the conversations, and I even go back to myself and I said, could you have tried harder? Maybe if you just got louder. But I've come to the understanding that it's not until you are at the decision-making table that the people elect you to be there, that it's only then you can create, or you can have people come against you and they can't fire you. I am beyond upset. And I know one would say that Gil, maybe, you're taking this too far. We have not gone far enough. And I am running a campaign that I'm looking to be endorsed by the people who elect me there. I want that endorsement because I've been in spaces where people feel like because they put their name on you, you owe them. And when you don't do what they think you should do, they try to control you. See, I've had many departments over the years weaponized against me. Chuck Johnson wasn't, when he said that they put them tax people on them, they did. They did, and they will. And you're going to have to get some attorneys. So ask me what you want, because this is the platform I'm going to use so we can have an understanding. And I'm very selective now on forums and debates that I'm going into, because there are political candidates who have teams already established who are hosting forums and debates, and they want you to show up as if it's going to be fair. Well, because you've shown your hand and you've shown the fact that you endorse certain people, what do I look like? How I'm going to have a fair opportunity at your forum or your debate when you've already publicly endorsed other candidates running in the same race? You publicly done it. People see it. Which leads me to, when we talk about businesses in the community and business owners, it's not that everybody knows we need new development for housing. Everybody knows we need new businesses to bring in tax revenue. Everyone knows that we have to do something different. But What we don't have to do is rush into it. And what we don't have to do is just take anything that's given to us. And so I had an individual send me an email attached with 2 other candidates, at least that's what I could see on this email. And he called our citizens, you and I, ignorant. He said, so we know how that turned out. If you've been following me, you've seen what I've posted. And that individual is an individual businessman whom gets involved in political processes here in the city. And they host candidate forums, and they host elected official gatherings in their place of business. They're the host. If you've shown me who you are, why will I keep ignoring who you are and how you think about the people that we serve? I can't and will not put myself in a position where it will appear that I agree with anybody trying to divide or use that type of rhetoric against my residents, against myself. Because to talk bad about Pontiac is like you talking about me. And a lot of times, this is the type of conversation that we don't want to have because we are in an elected season and we feel we have to compromise integrity, accountability, our transparency, because we got to be liked by people who appear that they can write a check for us. So when I didn't see anybody defend our residents, because if you running for mayor, my expectation, if I'm a resident, you defend me in that type of space. And they didn't. And I was able to really articulate a letter in my thought process to really explain to folks that, hey, I'm not going to support anything that this person does if it's going to be in that political space. I think the venue is a beautiful venue. I think a lot of people benefit from using the venue. How that person makes their money or whatever, that's on them. That's their business. It's not. If there's individuals that happen to pay whatever rental cost that they need to pay to have a function there and I know them, I'm going to attend. But if that individual, and I've known this individual and of them, let me just say that, I've watched them over 2 decades and a half and how they've done things. I don't do business with them. I've partnered with people. I've went in on percentages, but never as ideal as I am being the producer of an event held at this establishment. I've supported those who've done so, and I will continue to do that. But if this individual wants to continue to be into the politics and they've already discussed and called local voters ignorant, I can't support them. And it doesn't mean I have to be upset, and I'm not calling for a protest or anything like that. You have to develop a sense of what your own boundaries are. Pontiac is a non-negotiable for me because everything that is done for me, it is hard. It is really have been, I've tried to put 30 years of my life into these last 7 months. And I door knock. We have established certain things that we do. We meet with people on a regular and a weekly basis. And I thank God for the team for doing that. But Pontiac is a non-negotiable. And I may be running for office, And yes, I want to be the mayor of Pontiac. Why wouldn't I? It is honorable. It is a place where you get to stand in the gap for individuals, and they get to look at you and they get to say, hey, that's my mayor. That's not ego. That's just being proud of where I'm, just proud of who raised me. Proud of the individuals that's given me an opportunity to live the life that I'm living. I get to run for mayor of one of the greatest cities in the world, and my passport is full. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited about the life that it's given me. I won't apologize not one time for defending it. Pontiac has heroes, and they have men and women who believe in it to the fullest. Now, I've pretty much taken a lot of flack, but I'll keep taking it if it means that I got to keep my city safe. And I did it when I wasn't the police. And I'm gonna always do it to the day I die. And they put me over in Perrymount. There was some other questions that came up. And this one was from DeMar. And y'all know DeMar, and DeMar is very active in the community. He's very active in Pontiac as a whole. And he says, PSA, Pontiac primary elections, a vote for any candidate shouldn't be based on likable. It's about capable. We must start voting for intelligence, not emotions. And I agree. And I agree with that. Because even before I even considered am I really the best candidate? I had to look at myself in the mirror. And when I was able to answer the questions that I can represent everybody and that I can make sure everybody has an opportunity, even the ones whom weaponized or didn't allow me to be in their space or operate with their team or found some kind of way to set me aside, can I still represent them? Because I'm their mayor also. And when I boldly said that and I was able to really feel that and really kind of put that into perspective and still in this very moment help them out of situations that they find themselves to be in, I was like, yeah, Gil, you ready? Because it didn't matter to me the fact of specifically who this individual, the businessman, was talking about when he called them ignorant voters. They steal from Pontiac. And it don't matter what their political preference is or what you think their political preference is. Are you capable? Can you stand in the gap? Can you articulate? Can you put things in place for everyone? Now, you're never going to be able to please the full spectrum all the time. It doesn't happen. That's pretty much what I wanted to put into the conversation, like under the text, like you can't possibly please everybody at the same time. It just is impossible. But what you can do is you can be fully transparent so they'll be able to make a decision for themselves. That's what you can do. You can put out enough information and using technology to do so, to give them information right now, information that they can make a decision for their household and not wait. And so since we still on that point, let's have this conversation. And DeMar put another one out there, and I'm not just being partial to DeMar. This is what it was, and this is what he put out there. He said his last election rant, I hear a lot about the teams that will be built once in office. Should they disclose who their proposed team is? Because on a team, you're only good as your weakest link. And to my thought about that, in the reality in which we are in, it's almost impossible because people, I can tell you that I went to individuals before they decided to run, because I saw in the area that they were working in, we were very weak in that particular area. I could tell you that I'm currently looking at individuals on how they treat people now. That if so, it be that if that is the people's will for me to be the next mayor, what is their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What do we need to improve? How do we make them better? Because let's make no mistake about it. It really does take a lot of courage to run for office. And it does challenge you in areas, specifically when you're trying to say that you want to be the mayor or council person or any elected official. You're really putting yourself out there to individuals behind, in this day and age, social media, they can hide behind things. They can emotionally pull you into conversations that you're not ready for. And so, or that misinterpret a word through a soundbite. This is a risk. When you're doing a podcast and somebody can just come in and be like, oh, just take a soundbite and just move for that. So it is, it's a risk. However, you look at individuals and you say, do they really love Pontiac, or are they doing this for a stepping stone? And see, I've retired. I'm a retiree from the city of Pontiac. I'm eligible for my second retirement. I will take a pay cut being the mayor. Like, this is not about a job. It's about an assignment. It's about wanting to see the completeness of what I envisioned when I first got here at 19 years old. And using the skill set over 30 decades to making sure that we can put a team together that would get us across not just the finish line, but begin to build a dynasty. Just like we had when we had the plants, where people migrated from the South and it was Pontiac, it was a dynasty. They knew they can come here and make a living for themselves and provide for their wife, their children, and then be able to do even more in their life that they ever thought in their wildest dreams. Your parents came here for that. They had you. You were born and raised here. And see, for people like me, I get sort of, when people say, I'm born and raised, why you didn't stay? Because if you love something, no matter how hard it gets, you make the necessary compromise positions of yourself to love it. And so, even though I may understand, hey, you may have to go to other places to get the experience. That may be true. But when do you come back? When do you say that is it just to be an elected official? Is it because the programming that you thought or the financing that you thought was going to get from that nonprofit that you were going to be able to sustain yourself? Is it to get a paycheck? Who are you when this is over? Because we're going to be left with some major decisions that I am trying my best, even now, working now, to get folks to answer. Because they have this thing in this political world where they'll hold certain things like this, for instance. And I'll put this out here. And I thought this was very interesting. I said, man, there's a $60 million lawsuit. And I was like, whew, learned it in the last debate, right? The last forum. It was like, it's a $60 million lawsuit. Because they never told us how much it really was. and they kept it to themselves. And I'm talking about we having 6 and 8 hour marathon meetings. Like we could have had at least an hour conversation on this. So then I started inquiring, and I put it on my page and I asked them questions about it and went over to City Hall and started digging. And City Council meeting, they made an announcement yesterday. Congratulations. Congratulations. We no longer had a $16 million. Congratulations. We don't have that over our head no more. We don't have it over our head no more. Look what we did. Man, people been asking about that property and trying to figure out what we're going to do with it. And now all of a sudden they rolling it out after being there for 3.5 years. So it's 86th. We don't have it. It's been dismissed. $60 million lawsuit. So we don't have to worry about that. But why do we have to wait? Or why? It's not even, I'm not even about to play that game with you. I'm not doing that. We know why. Because they wanted to hold it as if it was a win for them. Look what I did. I'm not okay with the political process in landscape. I'm not a career politician as I went from seat to seat to seat. I got on a charter because we needed a charter. The charter didn't pass since 1982. And we had individuals who were sitting, they didn't want a mayor-strong form of government. They wanted a city manager. They wanted to change our governmental structure. And I was working over in the municipality at the time, and I went to Mayor Grimo, and I said, we had a very healthy conversation because you cannot work over in the municipality or be assigned and then try to run for an electoral office at that time. And I think I was still on the school board, but I had worked as I was on the school board. I moved over to the municipality. I was assigned over there. And I said, that's not going to happen. We can't afford to have a dictator. It's just like having an emergency manager. We don't have any of the things that we need to have in place. A person who gets elected by 3 people as the city manager hired, you get to just run autonomy. And these individuals was like, this is what we need. Now, ironically, one of them, because it didn't happen. I went in, that we made sure we established that out the gate, that we are not changing our form of government. We're not ready for that. I know other municipalities do it, and it may work well for them. But Pontiac is not ready for that. And that's not something that I've ever heard that came from individuals in the community that said that they wanted that city manager form of government. And so I asked for folks to write me in. I said, I want to do a write-in. They were like, oh, it's a little bit too late. I said, no, it's not too late. We can do a write-in. Let's do a write-in. You sure you're going to win, be able to get on there? That was the question asked. I said, listen, let the faith be into the hands of the people. And if the people put me on there, I guarantee you, we will not go to a city manager. Y'all passed the charter. We don't have a city manager. But the individual that wanted to carry that thought now wants to be the mayor. You figure it out. It's nothing to figure out. It's simple. So I always question individuals' intentions or why you're doing certain things. I should. We all should. And so I don't see any, I went on here, I don't see any folks, any questions from the audience or anything like that. So I'm going to assume we're okay. Nobody has any questions. Oh, okay. We do need someone who really cares for the city. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh, Lucas, Asante, what's going on with you, man? The parenting, it's the parents. No rec center will solve this. I agree. Brother Smith, put them 22s on, man. We rolling. That's my brother right there, man. Shout out to him. I'm gonna try to get over to the church to see my other brother, Solomon Smith, man. That man is on his 9th year anniversary. Listen, I appreciate y'all, and I told you I'm not gonna keep you no more than 20, more than an hour. This is the third episode. If you'd like to come on, if folks who want to come on, I don't have no problem having a conversation with you. And this is what this space is for. So me giving you an hour a week, I go live on other, on other podcasts as well. I give people opportunities to ask questions because you got to make it. I want you to know. I want you to. You're never going to know fully a person, right? Like, people only know you at the level that they met you on, right? Some people know me in the education space. Some people understand me to be as a police officer, and some people met me when I was over in the municipality. So people, they know you from the space that they met you on and at the level. Some people don't even know that I even had. Some people are still like, dude, we still work, right? I started this such a long time ago, and I'm grateful for it. I'm gonna spend these last couple minutes giving you some events where I will be. July 10th, I'll be at Rotary Park. The team put together a tent, hospitality tent, where we get bug spray, a couple chairs sometimes, and we sit there and listen to live jazz. And we're going to be out there early. July 10th starts at 7. We normally get out there about 5:30, get to setting up. Try to bring some water out there. I'm not sure if they're going to have food or things like that, but we just have a little snacks for you at the hospitality tent. And that's another space that you can come meet me at and have a conversation with me and talk. I'm going to try to get out here. This is August 1st, the 20th reunion. August 1st, 100 Cass Lake, Waterford, 300 Bowl. These are my students, man. These are my individuals. These are my babies, man. And it's been 20 years. It's been 20 years. So I'm gonna get out there and have a conversation with them to kind of, let's talk about it. Let's talk about where we're at. And it's Chief Family and Friends. Everybody is welcome. 20th reunion fundraiser for them. Starts from 7 to 10. Of course, I'm gonna be here on Saturday, July 20th from 11 to 7. We can have a conversation. We'll be at the Elam Block Party, Family and Friends, at 485 at the world famous Elam Block Party barbershop. Those guys over there have, they've been there solid. Robo. So Mr. Roland Elam, 485 South Sanford. I'll be there. We can have a conversation there as well. Now, 2005 presents their July 26th, the Huskies. They're going to be at Oakland Park, 500 Mount Calm. I'll be over there having a conversation with them. Man, my babies, y'all seasoned. Some of them have had some kids who graduated already too. And so again, you saw the Central for Bowling. Here's the Northern Picnic. 20 years. You've seen me there. If you haven't had the opportunity and you want the opportunity, listen, text me, call me and say, hey, Gil, I want to get on your podcast. Let's have a conversation, specifically highlighting individuals who are doing some great things here that people don't necessarily know what's going on, and really giving them an opportunity to be in this space. there's no secret to what my platform is and who I am and what I'm about and what I'm doing. We've already started with the vote. You want to join a team, you take your phone, go up into that QR code. But when we have a conversation about safer neighborhoods, accountability, financial stability, and economic growth for all, around my safety initiative, definitely we want to tackle this crime, man. How do we get all of these entities together? I know I have a plan for it. Transparency is a part of that accountability umbrella. Responsible budgeting, where the money is being spent. We almost had I just call it almost like I can't say it. I don't know what kind of budget hearing we had. It was different than any other year. And now we don't have another meeting until July 29th, a few days before the election. It's publicity. It's a political stunt. Me personally, for those who are running. So if you want to join a team, go to www.gilgarrettforpontiac.com. Economic growth for all. I want to bring jobs, some incentives, but making sure that we have folks in place to keep making sure that when they say they're hiring Pontiac people, that we don't give them the incentives that they signed up for unless we know they hired that exact amount of Pontiac residents. And then go into the neighborhoods and go into having conversations with what type of jobs these people are looking for. Stop thinking we know everything. Since the pandemic and COVID, things have changed. People ideal about how they see themselves have changed. We cannot just assume that because we bring in a factory job that's paying $20 an hour, somebody automatically wants to be a part of that and jump into that. You got to be able to talk and have a conversation with the people. And so if you haven't had an opportunity at this point to go over to the sheriff's page, please do so. OaklandCountySheriff'sOffice.com. They definitely give updates on what's happening. And we could talk offline if you feel more comfortable with doing so with that. I'm grateful for all the opportunities that we have. And I told you this before, and I'll keep saying it. I am honored and humbled. I am excited about running. I am excited about this campaign. I'm excited about this opportunity. But earlier in the show, I started off because my heart was heavy. And when you serve this community as long as I have, or just have empathy for the lives of young people, your heart will be heavy. I'm human. I had babies die in my arms, man, and I've had to tell parents that their child is not coming home, and I've had to sit on the opposite end and prosecute kids who, if they just thought for 10 minutes. But it goes back to before we start having conversations about a $41 million building, can we be honest in the conversation of finding those individuals and building a solid rec program? We got 5 school districts.
Brother.
We got 5 school districts. I think D-Mac calling in. Hold on one second. Let's get him on here. Let's see. Let's pause. Mac, you calling in, bro? What's happening?
Oh, no, man. You know, it's a club.
How you doing, sir?
Good. I'm doing. You but I'm doing. But
Hold on, I can't.
big bro.
Hold on one second. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna take you off that Bluetooth. What's going on with you, man? You're live, man. You're live. I appreciate you calling in. How you doing, big bro?
Man, just going to dinner, man, and I saw you was on, man, Just wanted to call you, brother. I don't tell you often enough, but number one, brother, I love you, and number two, brother, I'm so proud of you, man. You know I'm your big brother. I sit back and watch what you're doing in your community, man, and just for people in general, man. I'm proud of you, brother.
Man, that means a lot. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you calling in, saying that, and just it. People, I would love for us to have that conversation when you get some time, because you're doing some amazing things over there with them girls, and you got a story, man, and people don't understand, man. That
I'm gonna call it what it is. I got a testimony, brother.
Man, a testimony, Jack. Like,
yes, sir.
I don't.
Yes, sir.
I didn't get here by myself, and I
Yeah.
want people to, you were a Pontiac
For
police
sure.
officer, and I remember
And
you.
I'm just,
Go ahead.
yep. And I'm just paying it back, man. I'm good. How are you? I'm good. How's it going? I'm just paying it back, man. But hey, I love to get some time on there, man, and talk about those amazing things we doing over West Bloomfield with the girls basketball team. You know.
Oh, for sure.
It ain't Pontiac, but I'm Pontiac connected.
Oh yeah, for sure. Them are Pontiac students too, man. We got to get them. y'all got a few of our 4,000 students outside of Pontiac too. I know.
Well, hey, man, I'm not gonna hold you, man. But number one, I just want to hear your voice, man. And two, bro, I'm proud of what you're doing, man.
Thank you, big bro.
Hey, if Pontiac see and understand what's going on, and I'm already put it in the air. You're gonna be the next mayor of Pontiac, and I know you're gonna do great things, brother.
Man, I appreciate it, big bro. Man, love you, man. Thank you, man. Hug the wife for me and get nephew a pound for me, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir, brother. All right, have a good evening.
All right, in a minute. Man, that's we live, because that's definitely something that I didn't expect. So I appreciate bro calling, man, and saying those words. And we're gonna get him on here so he can have that conversation and talk about this testimony. It's all things Pontiac and people who are connected to it. Man, God bless y'all, man. I'm gonna get up out of here. We've had an opportunity to share some things and be in a great space. So we keep praying for the city. Keep praying for our youth. We're gonna get it together. I have a plan. I have a plan that includes all of us. I'm Gil Garrett, and with your help, the next mayor of Pontiac. Have a good evening.